One of the other things that CSearch was engaged with was, aside from the debate about sustainable development, steady state economy, and so on, how would you measure the process or the progress of an economy in this new world? And so Pierce, Hamilton, and Atkinson in CSearch came up with something called the genuine savings rate, which is a reformulation of, if you remember your resource economics, the Hartwig rule, but reinvesting profits from extraction. And under that Hartwig rule, we had to try and find, or they had to try and find, where Kirk Hamilton was in CSearch and also in the World Bank. So had to find a practical way of, with the data that one had. So the problem wasn't the theory, it was the actual amount of data you could gather here. Because you have to do this internationally. Each country would have its sustained genuine savings rate. Was a very simple one where Z is the indicator. Savings over income, depreciation of human capital, depreciation of natural capital over income. And data of sorts was available for each of those expressions. Data varied in quality from country to country, and so they came up with a whole series of genuine savings calculations. The World Bank, through Kirk Hamilton, then took that on and turned it into a more formal process. And so in the World Bank system, the genuine savings concept is investment in man-made capital minus net foreign borrowing plus net official transfers minus depreciation of man-made capital and minus net depreciation of natural capital plus social expenditure. Education was the easiest one to look at. And they still make those calculations with a few nuances since then. So it is a test of sorts for sustainable development to know if you are making progress or not, but it's only a test for weak sustainability. It's not a test for strong sustainability. If you believe that strong sustainability is actually what you need. Because critical natural capital shouldn't be depreciated at all, because you risk threshold effects, irreversibilities, and tipping points. And the cost of that could be catastrophic. Okay. Very quickly, 2 minutes. That work on generating savings and so on led to natural capital accounting and the SEAEA system that we're all familiar with, and then CSearch's most recent contribution, if we can call it that, is that this is all fine, the SEAEA, but the big hidden elephant in the room, to use an English expression, is you have to use exchange values to put the values into these accounts. Under the SNA, System of National Accounting, international guidelines, welfare exchange values are the only value you can put in. You can't use other forms of value, like from choice experiments, express preference, and so on. So in CSearch, we came up with CAN, Complementary Accounts Network, which says we'll take the SNA type stuff, we'll put into it as many environmental components as we can with exchange values, and all the thing, and then we will allow a separate but complementary account to look at the non-welfare valued components, and a third group of biophysical, physical indicators. And the key to CAN is that we we put all the data on the same time horizon. Yeah. So you have time horizon T1 to TX when GDP looks like that, when the SNA accounts modified look like this, and where other water quality indicators, whatever the indicators are, look like this. And the policymaker sees all those complementary accounts over the same time horizon. To which the criticism at the moment from the policymakers is, that is a hell of a data set, and who's going to do all this? To which my response is, you are. That's what you're supposed to do. You are the environmental regulator. You are the whatever they are. Yeah. We, the technical people, will give you the data as far as we can. You put it together, or we'll even put it together for you. You interpret that on behalf of society. So that is where we're at currently. It's definitely finishing now. Going right back to the start. Sustainable development is development in the needs of the present and the needs of the future. Needs. So for some environmental and ecological economists, we need to enrich our understanding of utility and preferences and look at what some analysts call basic goods, but needs. So when we pass on this stock, the basic goods become a non-substitutable and non-contractual idea. You have to pass on, to get inequality down, a certain amount of basic goods, and Maslow, decades ago, said, actually we should be trying to come up this triangle and satisfy more and more different needs. Process we call self-actualization. I'm more interested in the needs rather than the psychology. Psychologists will have a big problem with this now. So I'm not saying this is how human psychology works, I'm just saying these are hierarchies of need that you might want to pass on. Okay. Thank you very much.